Whoop whoop, hey guys, it's WarmConnell007 here, and welcome to another Doodle World video. Guys, I'm going to be doing a lot of PvP videos on Doodle World here moving forward. I want to kind of take you through some things that I find really useful. First of all, I'm going to go over the type chart and effectiveness. To see when I look at this, I'm like, what the actual heck is going on? I don't even know what's coming or going. Like, white, red, green. Like, white X. What's going on? I really don't have a clue what's going on. So guys, if you're confused like me, I'm going to kind of simplify it down. So I'm going to kind of show you how I kind of nerd out. So yeah, by the way guys, if you haven't already, do subscribe, hit the like button, do all that beautiful stuff. But let's open this. Boom. Right, okay. So yeah, I've nerded out. So in this game, it's not like normal typing. They have what's called basic typing. So as you can see here, guys, up at the top. So this is the damage dealt and the damage it takes. So for instance, it's neutral to most things, but it can't hit Spirit. Ultimately, Spirit can't hit it either. So Spirit is kind of your ghost type, essentially. Melee type, which is kind of your brawler or your fighting type, will hit it for double. And it does half damage on Metal and Mythic. Pretty straightforward on that one, okay? Now, Fire and Ice and Water are a bit crazy in this one, and Electric. So I'm going to go through each of them individually. So with Fire, as you can see, guys, does half damage to Fire, half damage to Water, half the Earth, Crystal, and Mythic. Because as you see, Crystal and Mythic are obviously types that Doodle World have, that Pokemon and likes of Lumion Legacy and things like that don't have. But it does double against Plant, which is always good. You expect Fire to burn plants. Does double against Beast, which is really important because Beast is a really good typing in this game. Does double against Insect, double against Food, so you've got a new typing in there called Food. Double against Metal and double against Ice. Beautiful, okay. When defending, it resists Fire, Plant, Beast, Insect, Food, and Metal. But look at this, right? It takes double from Water, as you expect. It takes double from Earth, as you expect. But it takes double from Ice. So it does double the Ice, but it takes double from Ice. It's a bit crazy, so, you know, if Ice hits Fire, obviously it turns into Water, so I kind of get that. Water, as you can see, guys, you know, it does half damage on Water, Plant, Mythic. It does double against Fire, Earth, but it also does double against Food. That's interesting, though, because we've got a new type in here in Food, but it does double against that. Now let's look at it defending. So it resists Fire, Water, Crystal, Metal, and Ice. Plant hits it for double, as you expect. Spark hits it for double, as you expect. And Poison actually hits it for double, so I know some games it doesn't, but in some games it does, so kind of like Toxic and Lumion Legacy, it's hitting Water for double. It's important to know that, so it's quite clever to have. So let's have a look here now at our plant type. So obviously with the likes of the plant type here, as you can see, we're doing half damage to Fire, Plant, Air, Insect, Metal, Mythic. Not doing a lot, too many there, but it does double against Water, Earth, and Light, which is good to know. Light again is another type coming in, but like let's look at its resistance. So it resists, you know, Water, Plant, Spark. So Spark's your Electric, Earth, Food, and Light. Because gets hit by double by Fire, as you expect, Air, as you expect, Insect, Ice, and Poison. So Plant is kind of an obvious one if you're related to kind of Pokemon and other games there. But obviously you need to learn about like Food and, you know, Light and things like that. Spark, which is your Electric type, guys. It does half damage against Plant, Spark, Food, Crystal, and Mythic. But it hits for double against Water. Hits for double for Beast. Again, important to know because Beast is kind of everywhere in the game of PvP at the moment. It's double against Air. It does double against Insect. And it can't hit Earth. So Earth's completely immune to it, which is quite important. Defending, half damage from Spark, so your Electric, Air, Light, Metal, and it takes double from Crystal and Earth. It's important to know about Crystal because it's something that isn't really that obvious, especially with a new typing being added onto it. As we go across with Beast, as I said, guys, currently you got things like Gomot, you got things like Clangatang, you got things like Wolfreeze, that are literally everywhere in the game right now that are base types. So it's really important to understand the base types and understand what's good, what isn't good against it. So it's worth understanding this. So Beast hits for half against Fire, Melee, Metal, Mythic. It's interesting because there's not many melees about. And then it hits for double against Beast itself. Hits for double against Insect, Food, and Dark. Defending wise, it takes half damage from insect and food, but it gets big damage from fire, spark, beast, and mind. So it's important to know them. I would honestly, I would really keep a note of this one because, as I said, beast is everywhere. Air types right now in PvP are really prominent because people are running the move hit and run. There's a lot of teams that are running double pivots. Hit and run is the only pivot move in Doodle World currently at the moment. So you'll see a lot of kind of fast air types in the game at the moment. So if you look here, for instance, it does half damage to spark, metal, and poison. Interesting to know about air versus poison here at the moment, by the way, guys. It does double against plant, insect, and melee, as you can expect. Defending wise, it takes half damage against plant, insect, and melee, but it takes double from spark, ice, and takes double from poison. So you need to understand that, guys. Poison is very good against air. Again, earth types don't hit it. Insect, again, insect doesn't really hit him. Like, look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like plant types all over. It hits 6 things for half damage: fire, based, air, melee, metal, and poison. It hits plant for double, mind for double, food for double, and then defending. It's it resists plant, earth, and melee, fire, spark, based, and air, which are probably these 3 to 4. I'd say probably these 3, spark, beast, and air, are very prominent in PvP. So insect doesn't really do a lot right now, to be fair, as a typing, but that's quite common across a lot of games. Earth hits plant and insect for half damage. It hits fire, spark, crystal, earth, metal, poison for double, which is pretty cool. Doesn't hit air, as you expect. Resists spark, nothing does there, but again, does no damage at all against spark, but half damage when you've got fire, crystal, and poison. Earth, again, it takes double damage from water, plant, and ice. Earth's kind of straightforward to learn. Just kind of memorize kind of crystal. It's kind of the one that you wouldn't probably know. Mind typings. There's not too many mind types about. I know people are running Jin quite a lot in terms of mind types, but there's not. It's not overwhelming with minds at the moment, to be fair. But if you look here, half damage against mind, metal, and spirit. Does double against beast. Again, prominent PvP typing right now. Double against melee types. There's not many melee types about at the moment. Double against crystal and double against poison. Defending wise, it takes half damage from mind, melee, and again, insect hits it for double, but not too many of them floating about. Food hits it for double. There is quite a few food typings. Double, it's weak, disparate, and also dark as well. So again, learning this is really important. For me, I found actually writing it out like this, I found it easier to read personally, but not only that, I kind of started learning as I was typing, and it might be something that you may want to do. But again, melee types, so again, there's not too many melee types in the game right now. You've got, what do you call it? Cobbolt's Evolution, forget the name of it, and then you've got, Henchum, basically, at the moment that I can think off the top of my head. So again, hits for half against air, insect, mind, and poison. Hits for double against basic, crystal, metal, and ice. Doesn't hit spirit types at all. Then again, resists beast and insect, and it hits double for air hits double against it, mind hits double against it, and food hits double against it. So it's a good option if you look at those. I know Henchum's quite used quite a bit, so it is a good option. So food, as again here, brand new typing. It's not very good against fire, plant, beast, or spirit, but it hits against mind, melee, and mythic for double. Defending wise, it resists dark and mythic, but fire toasts it, water washes it, beast beasts it, and insect bugs it. So yeah, that's kind of food. Again, an interesting one, but you need to get your head around it. Because I say most of the typings are pretty straightforward. Air versus poison I found was a bit weird, but it's interesting to pick up these ones. What's going on? Then we got light type. It hits for half damage against plant, spark, light, and crystal. Does double damage against spirit, dark, and mythic. Again, half damage against plant. Receives, and then it hits for plant hits for double and dark hits for double. So it doesn't have quite a lot in there at all, to be honest with you. It's quite neutral, and again, spirit can't hurt light at all. Crystal, again, another type in to get your head around, guys. It's water, earth, and ice for half. Hits spark, Spirit, and Mythic for double. There's not too many Mythics right now. Defending, you know, does well against Fire, Spark, Light, Spirit, and Mythic. But again, Earth, Mind, Melee, Metal hits for double. Poison doesn't affect it, so if you can kind of see a poison, you know, poison move coming across, guys, you know, good swap in the crystal is always solid. Metal is freaky. It's absolutely freaky deaky. So if you look here, hits for half against Fire, Water, Spark, and Metal, as you expect. Hits for double against Crystal. Hits for double against Ice. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at that. 8 for half damage against Fire. Basic Fire, Plant, Beast, Air, Metal, Ice, and Insects. 8 resists. Wow. Fire, Earth, and Melee hit it for double. Poison doesn't affect it. So, typing wise, Metal is kind of, in my opinion, really unbalanced. But it is what it is. We're going to Spirit types. So Spirit hits Crystal and Dark for half damage. Mind and Spirit hits a double. Doesn't affect Basic, it doesn't affect Light. Again, Basic and Melee don't hurt it at all. It takes half damage from Mind, Food, and Poison. And then again, Light, Crystal, Spirit, and Dark hit it for double. There is quite a few Spirit types, guys. I would get your head around that. There's quite a lot of Spirit types floating about in PvP right now. Ice, Wolf freezes everywhere, so it's important to understand Ice. So again, hits Water, Metal, and Ice for half. Hits Fire for double. Again, amazes me. Hits Plant for double, hits Air for double, hits Earth for double. Defending, receives half damage from Crystal and Ice, and double from Fire, Melee, and Metal. We then get on to Dark types, which hits half against Food and Dark. Hits double against Mind, Light, and Spirit. Only hits takes half damage from Spirit and Dark, and again it takes double damage from Beast and Light. It doesn't take any damage from Mind, so that's an interesting one if you're looking at swappings like against Jin and, you know, potentially like predicting a Psycho Force or the effect, whatever it is. Psycho Force, isn't it? The psychic move, you know what I mean. Well, Mind move rather. Again, here we've got Poison, so hits Earth, Spirit, and Poison for half. Hits Water for double, Plant for double, and amazingly Air for double. Again, that's a notable one. Doesn't hit Crystal, doesn't affect Metal at all. Defending, resists against Air, Insect, Melee, and Poison, and Earth and Mind do double against it. And then finally, guys, brings us to Mythic. So again, Mythic does half damage to Food and Crystal. Mythic against Mythic does double damage. Defending wise, it's got quite a good resist against Basic, Fire, Water, Plant, Spark, and Beast. But then you got Food, Light, Crystal, and Mythic that hit for double. There's some Light, some Crystal floating about. There is quite a lot of Food floating about in PvP as well. So guys, I just wanted to kind of take you through the type chart, how I learned it, and how I'm kind of learning it as I go along, to be fair. It's really important if you're doing PvP, when you look at another person's team, if you understand their typings, understand their kind of immunities, understand their strengths, it's really, really important to do that. So guys, I hope this video's helped you. If it does, please do leave a like button, hit the like button, it does help me out. And I say, I'm going to try and get you in some PvP coming up forward, moving forward, can't even talk. Hope you've enjoyed that, hope that gives you a bit of insight, and as I said, I'll drop this on my Discord just after the video, just to make it easier and a bit more accessible, because I think it's a lot easier compared to the current typing chart, to be honest with you. Let me know what you guys think's kind of broke, what's kind of weird, what think's kind of great. Like for me, notable ones, as I said, was the kind of the Air versus Poison relationship, but also the fact that Metal's kind of broke. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Whoop whoop, keep it country, and I'll see you next time.